Even 150 years ago, people who made a living from these troublesome waters planned ahead and prepared, but with modern times come modern problems. Today, homes are being built close to beautiful lakes and rivers with dire consequences. Protect and Survive will help us understand what the key issues are for us to be able to protect and survive during crisis and disasters involving flooding. Welcome to Protect and Survive. I'm Laura Ballantyne. This is a show that helps you become better prepared to protect you and your family. Today, we're going to be discussing flooding. We're going to look at different events from around the world where we will give you the means necessary to be able to protect and survive. There are many different factors that come into play. What type of event, whether natural or man-made events, all have different impacts on the community. People have different expectations of their local governments and their insurance companies in response to the different situations that may happen. Although the government does have plans, most of the plans are to get critical infrastructure to sustain people at their homes. They generally don't have sufficient resources to help all their citizens and visitors. People also expect assistance from different nonprofit agencies to assist to sustain them and to help with their recovery. Insurance companies also need time to assess the impacts and offer their clients assistance. Either way, it will take hours to days and often weeks to respond. Today we're going to start with Ginger Sherlock, our resident emergency management specialist. Welcome, Ginger. Thank you for joining us on this rainy day. It seems fitting that we're discussing flooding.
Yeah, thanks, Laura.
So I guess the question for today is, how do we protect ourselves? How do we prepare in the event of a flood?
Well, the first thing is to know the risks. And since our focus is flooding, there's two types of floods. So you can live in a floodplain, or there can be flash flooding. Okay. If you live in a floodplain, that's one thing. Flash flooding can happen anywhere at any time around the globe. So you need to be aware of that.
And so where would somebody go and look for that information? Where can they find it?
So most people would be able to find that information with their local government. Local governments should have a floodplain plan and maps and stuff like that, so they could see where they are in relation to.
So town hall, city hall, they can go in there and ask anybody in there if they can get that information.
Also, they can Google a lot of agencies such as provincial and federal state governments will have information about the hazards of the region, and so that's also very useful. When we speak to knowing the risks, if you have a business, there's also plans that need to be in place for that. Farmers also need to consider because they're animals, and a lot of preparation needs to be made for them. And you might decide, depending on where you live, whether you're going to shelter in place or evacuate. So all these things to consider.
Great. That's great. Good consideration.
The next thing is to have a plan. So you need to have a plan on, when it comes to the family, all right, if we do need to evacuate, where are you going to go? Where are we going to meet? So they need to communicate that with all the family members. So you're going to have some people at work and some people at school. They all need to know
where they're going to meet up.
And they should have a backup plan. And they need to communicate with family, because if they plan on going to Joe's and Jill's and Bob's, well, maybe Joe and Jill live in the floodplain.
Yeah.
So they need to have that conversation to say, okay, who lives where, and then really have a comprehensive plan that everybody knows about. And you need to be able to communicate. So a cell phone's a great tool. If it's a major storm, though, it may not be working. Texting often does work, even when the lines go down. Okay. That and social media. So
that's a great one. It's very popular now.
Yeah. So Facebook and Twitter is also a very valuable way to keep in touch. Yeah. And then,
so make sure it's charged. Keep your cell phone charged.
Well, make sure
extra battery. Bring your charger.
Yeah, and always have your vehicle more than half full of gas. You never know if the power does go out. You may not be able to get gas. So.
That's great. And third?
And the third thing is have a kit, because if you do need to evacuate, you'll want to take your valuables with you. So, I mean, if you don't have a place to go, you'll want to bring shelter with you, such as a tent. But you want food, water, sanitation, toiletries, communication, charger, generator, medications, special needs. You also need to plan ahead for those. Maybe somebody has difficulty with transportation or communications, or they need supervision, such as young children or someone with dementia, right? Or there might be a medical issue.
So what are the key points then, Ginger, that we need to remember from this program?
So from a perspective of personal preparedness, you want to know the risks, you want to have a plan. That plan needs to include where you will meet and the communication tools that you're going to communicate with your family. And you're going to want to make a kit. Ensure you include a radio so you can know what's going on in your community. Ensure there's food, water, communication tools, personal supplies, and toiletries. Ensure you have everything you need to keep your family safe.
Okay, folks, well, I hope you picked up on these precautions that will help you and your family protect and survive during flood emergencies. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time on Protect and Survive.